This video response is going to go out to Kelly Strack, and that is because you uploaded a video entitled Prom Advice, What I Wish I Knew Before Prom. And the first thing I'm going to tell you is no, I did not attend my own prom, and I had several reasons for not attending. Number one, I was not the richest kid in school. Number two, I was not the healthiest kid in school. Number three, I was also the oldest kid in school. Why was that? Because I started kindergarten late. Enough said. Okay. Now, the problem with being the oldest kid in your class, even though I was only just about 1 or 2 years older than my classmates, depending on who you asked, okay, is that I got hooked on late 70s music. This was to be the 1970s, okay? This would be Fleetwood Mac and Barry Manilow and the Bee Gees, amongst others, okay? I would have been better suited to have been in Studio 54 looking like John Travolta, okay? Or I would have been better off being in the movie Saturday Night Fever than to be at my own prom. Okay, that's because most of my friends were very fond of 80s music. That becomes a little bit of a clash. Do you see that? So those were some of the reasons I didn't go to prom. Another thing was that I attended a rural school, okay? A rural school. And the people of that community, a lot of them actually did go out and go to college, but many of them ended up coming back, mainly because their families were situated there. They had their parents there, their grandparents, so on and so forth. In a rural community like that, it becomes an ideal retirement place. See what I mean? So a lot of them ended up coming back, even though they left for a while. See what I mean? So they had real close ties to their family, and that's why they came back. Well, I know that I live in an urban environment now, but when it comes to this rural community, I'm not that far away. If I want to see some of these people, all I have to do is jump in the car, drive about 20 minutes, and I can see them anytime I want. So I really didn't miss them that much because they're still there. See what I mean? So missing them was not such a big factor for me. Anyway, the first thing I'm going to tell you is that I did watch your entire video, and I wanted to say I felt just awful that at your prom you did get stung by a bee. The only comforting thing I can say about that is that if you know anything about biology, when a bee stings you, it dies shortly thereafter. So it probably went through as much agony as you did at your prom. I know that pretty much stressed you out, but there you go. So maybe that'll give you a little bit of comfort. I don't know. Anyway, things you should never do when it comes to a prom. Remember, when you're driving to a prom, your mind is going to be thinking about the things that are going to happen at the prom. So that's distracted driving. You never want to drive tired, and you do not want to drive intoxicated. Those are 3 things you do not want to do. And when you're coming out from the prom, your mind is thinking about all the things that actually happened at the prom and not necessarily about what's going on the road. And that can cause a disaster. So you don't want to drive distracted. You certainly do not want to drive intoxicated or sleepy. And for heaven's sakes, don't text and drive. Don't call anybody and drive. Not worth it. If you need to tell somebody where you are or whatever, have your prom date that isn't driving, make the phone calls, make the texts, whatever. Let them do that. They're not driving. You are. See what I mean? So that's one of my pieces of advice when it comes to prom. Even though I didn't go, I can give you that advice anyway. All right. When you're choosing a prom date, observe them for a long period of time. Don't just watch them as they interact with their friends. Also watch how they interact with everybody in general. Because if they start treating certain people badly, they might turn and start treating you badly at your own prom. And that's the last thing you want to remember for the rest of your life. See what I mean? So watch how they treat everybody, not just their friends. Because that could play a critical role in your prom experience. And this applies to both genders. guys can get jilted by ladies just as much as ladies can get jilted by guys. And it's not just attitude, it's also mannerisms. So they have bad mannerisms. That's not a perfect date. So that's something else to think about too. Okay. Now the next thing is, when you're talking about people that are going to prepare your hair for prom, or give you a manicure or pedicure, or do your makeup for prom, I would get to know these people long in advance. Practically make them your friends. And the reason for that is because when they get to know you on a more personal basis, then based on what they know about you, they can pick the best look for you. That's a good piece of advice. So make sure that the person you go to style your hair or do your nails or do your makeup is somebody you go to on a regular basis anyway, because they will make you look good. All right? Because they count on your future business. See what I mean? Also remember that the people who are preparing your hair and your makeup and your nails, they get pretty stressed out at that time of year because they want to make you look your best. The best thing you could do for them after they get you all prepared for prom, okay, is to hand them a thank you card, letting them know that they did such a good job. It relieves the stress. And treat them as nice as you possibly can. The nicer you treat them, the better they'll make you look good. Hopefully you understood that. Okay. Now then, for ladies, weather is going to play a great role in what happens to you at prom. Let me explain. When I went to my graduation, the very second I entered the building, it was still warm. When I came back out, it was ice cold. I am not kidding you. You could encounter rain at your prom. You could encounter cold temperatures at your prom. You go in the building, you're going to prom, you're having a good time, it's nice and warm, but then you come back out, it's ice freezing cold. So my advice to you ladies is, number one, watch your weather forecast in advance. And if you know it's going to rain, bring an umbrella. I don't care how ugly it makes you look, bring an umbrella anyway. It'll save your looks, especially your hair, your makeup, so on and so forth. Get the picture? Number two, I would pick 2 prom dresses. 2 inexpensive prom dresses. One that's like strapless and more suited for short, for summer weather. Maybe short sleeves or strapless, doesn't matter either way. And then another prom dress that is long sleeve in case it suddenly is going to turn cold and you know about it. Then, there you go. So that would be my personal advice. Well, let's see, what else can I say? Well, that's pretty much it, except I will say one other thing. If you are being continually bullied in school, it makes going to prom a rather uncomfortable experience. You may even not want to go to prom because you're being bullied on a regular basis. Well, what I'm going to say to you now won't do you much good here in 2014, but I'm hoping and I'm counting on people watching this in the years to come. So, to those people that will watch this in the years to come, and I certainly hope that they watch this, say, like when they're freshmen or sophomores in high school, so they'll have plenty of time to deal with this kind of thing. My personal advice to you is, if you're getting bullied on a regular basis, to come to my YouTube main channel page and watch my featured video. Watch my featured video and follow the instructions on that video. And when you do, you will alleviate the bullying situation without any physical violence. It doesn't have to get that far. It really doesn't. You could alleviate your entire bullying situation without any physical violence whatsoever. I'm not kidding you. And if you're somebody that's also impoverished, or you just happen to be impoverished and you're not even getting bullied at all, let's just say you just are impoverished, watch the featured video on my main YouTube channel page. Follow the instructions. Do what it says. And you'll have a much better chance of having a good prom because of what I tell you. I'm not kidding you. Well, that's all the advice I have to give for this time. I hope this video gets spread around. I hope people watch it and take the advice I've given them. And I hope that everybody has a great prom this year. I also hope everybody has a great Easter this year. After all, I am videotaping this over the Easter period of time of 2014. So I hope everybody this year has a great Easter, as well as a great prom. And if you have any cool prom stories, leave them down here in the comments below. I'd love to hear about them. And if you guys need any further advice, leave comments down here. I'll help you any way I can. Alright, well, this is Ted the Speed Learner signing off. I will tell you more in a future video, so stay tuned.